Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. I am Rachel Relly, your worship associate this morning. We are a diverse congregation that welcomes you as you are, regardless of your age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or physical ability. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. We are an active community that lives its values beyond the hours of Sunday service, and I would like to call your attention to the following. We will continue our 20-year commitment to raising funds for the Salvation Army's bell ringing project. Our days, whole days, will be this Wednesday and Thursday, the 3rd and 4th. The sign-up sheet is on the table in the foyer. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. The SAC table in the foyer. December 13th is our cookie walk and craft show from 10 to 3 or until we're sold out. Donations for the cookie walk will be received on Friday, December 12th from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Gluten, dairy-free, nut-free, and vegan are especially welcome. Local crafters and talented members of the UUFWC will be selling their wares at Strawn Hall. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Barb Tatula, Aaron Palmer, or Mary Wicks. Thank you to all who have supported Coffee Hour for years or just occasionally. We are in need of people to either set up Coffee Hour, which means be at the fellowship by 9 a.m., and or stay after Coffee Hour for half an hour to an hour. It's pretty simple, but very much needed. Please reach out to Dawn Thomas or sign up in the lobby. If you would like to find out more about our activities, feel free to ask Karen Skubik, our membership coordinator.
Karen Skubik is not here today. She's away on her Thanksgiving holiday. But I wanted to say good morning. Welcome thank you for coming, and hope that you all had a pleasant holiday also. If you are new here and I don't see any new people, do I see any new people? Does anybody see any new people? Okay, don't see any new people. But if you have questions about anything, you can check, of course, our information board and find out exactly what is going on a daily and weekly basis here. Our call to worship this morning, let's give a wave to the people for joining us on YouTube. Thank you very much. It's a cold, blistery day here in Ohio, so if you stayed home, I can appreciate that. I almost wanted to stay home and phone and did myself. We're talking about gratitude. It's the month of November. Of course we're talking about gratitude because of Thanksgiving. But sometimes that's hard to find in this world that we live in. And we'll be exploring that more in depth in a little bit. I hope you had a pleasant holiday. And now we're on to the next go-round of holidays as the Christmas season is upon us. And we have to think about all of the things that make us happy. What things make you happy? What things are you thankful for? We'll think about those today. Chime.
Our chalice lighting this morning is a quote by Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Let us now rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, We Gather Together, which can be found in the gray hymnal number 349.
Here today, not my usual spot, but it's going to be a little bit easier for me to hold this. And I see we don't have any little guys today, so yeah, just doing it all. So you're probably wondering why I am holding a cotton ball with bad breath. This is Blanca. She's my little poochie, one of my poochies. And she is here today to talk to us about nurturing gratitude. Today is our last time talking about that in November, our topic. And honestly, last evening I was like, man, I have talked a lot about gratitude. I just don't know if I got anything left in me. And I said, what should we do, Blanca? And she gave me an idea. So, what does it mean to nurture something? We're talking about nurturing gratitude. And if I could boil that down, I tend to think of it's how we help something grow. So how do we help our gratitude grow and get stronger? How do we nurture it when we're especially struggling to feel it? Well, the answer is be more like a dog. So let me tell you a little bit about Blanca. We adopted her 4 years ago from the Ashland County Humane Society, and she had been pulled from an Amish puppy mill where she was a breeder. And she had lived in a cage for 4 years, having 2 litters a year. And once they reach age 4 or 5, they're done with them, and the truth is they usually get disposed of because they're done being bred. But the Ashland Humane Society works with these breeders, which makes me cringe a little bit, but it allows them to at least pull the mothers out and help them provide some medical care for the animals. So she had a rough start of things, and when we first got her, she didn't know what grass was. She was terrified to be put down. She was just afraid of absolutely everything. Well, we have fattened her up. We put 4 pounds on her. She's a whole 8 pounds now. Another sad thing is they tend to keep them underweight because they can have tinier puppies. So she is a fat and happy clam now. And when I watch her, I think she gives me some lessons in gratitude. Every morning, Blanca wakes up like it is the best day that has ever happened. And every little step through her day is the best thing that has ever occurred. Her same old breakfast every morning is, yes, I get to have this canned food again. It's amazing. And then after breakfast, we like to get back in bed for a little bit with our coffee. And she is like, yes, I'm back in bed snuggling with my mom. This day is amazing. Every step of her day is unrestrained joy and, dare I say, gratitude. Do you think a dog can feel gratitude? I do. Dogs are actually better at living in the moment than humans and enjoying and appreciating what they have. So this morning I decided to start my day trying to be more like Blanca. While my coffee brewed, I thought, how awesome is it that I can stagger out of bed and have hot, steaming coffee in 3 minutes? That's pretty awesome. And then we got back in and cuddled back up. I thought, how awesome is it that I have a warm, cozy, safe bed to snuggle with my dog in before I get ready for the day? And when I did not want to leave my house this morning to come here, it was hard to get going this morning. I thought to myself, how wonderful is it that the place I have to go is full of loving and kind and safe people that I enjoy being around. So today I challenge you to be more like Blanca and appreciate those small little things that we take for granted. Thank you. And we'll release the youth to youth group. All right, thank you very much.
Each service, each Sunday morning, we take time to quiet our minds. Do you take time to quiet your minds when you're at home and you're feeling a little overwhelmed? Do you just sit back and say, okay, it's time for a cup of coffee. I need to shut off the social media. I need to shut off the news. I need to shut off everybody who might be talking at me and say, I need a break, I need quiet. We don't do that as much as we probably should, but we do it every Sunday morning. So I'm going to ask you to get very comfortable in your chairs. Put your feet flat on the floor. Place your hands in your laps. I want you to take in a big, deep breath, and you can feel those shoulders go up. And exhale slowly. As you exhale, feel those shoulders come down and relax. Now take another deep breath. And as you exhale, let any condition of the world be gone from inside these walls. Know that you are safe here, that you are loved here, and you're cared for within these walls. All of the world's problems are beyond this room. Now we'll observe just a few minutes of silence. We also ask now during this time, anyone who wishes could come forward and take one of the stones and transfer your worries, your cares, and your concerns onto this stone and drop it in the water. We do that just as a symbol, but it's that doing that small symbol seems to help calm our minds. And while you are doing that, we will sing Spirit of Life that Sue Kanda will play for us. For those of you who feel that simply putting your problems onto a stone and dropping it in water isn't quite enough, we have members of our pastoral care team here today. And if you would like to speak with Sue Gross or Cheryl Wirtz, you could certainly do that. You can speak with me if you so desire, or you could make an appointment and speak with Walter if it's something that you really feel needs to go to him.
Our faith is centered on the belief that we can make this world a better place for all who dwell in it. In order to realize that vision, we need both the motivation and the means. Your donation helps the community put its faith into action by supporting our programming and facilities. This morning, all donations collected that are not specifically marked otherwise will be split with the Immigrant Worker Project, IWP. IWP was founded in 1998 to address the needs of the farm worker and rural migrant communities in Ohio. At the heart of the project is a deep commitment to economic, legal, political, and social justice for the Latinx community. IWP supports human dignity and justice for immigrants while building communities that embrace cultural diversity. For those who are watching online or who do not carry cash, you can donate on our website by scanning the QR code in the order of service and on the screen. The offering will now be collected and gratefully received. Please join me in the unison reading. The words are on the screen. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share our gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Our reading today is We Give Thanks This Day by O. Eugene Pickett. And as I read the following, please respond at the end of each portion by saying, We give thanks this day. For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations, we give thanks this day. For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons, we give thanks this day. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements, we give thanks this day. For our human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression, we give thanks this day. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding views not shared, we give thanks this day. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, we give thanks this day. for human liberty and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and to grow, to affirm and to choose. We give thanks this day. We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, and not by our words, but by our deeds.
Again, I hope you all had a very nice holiday. I did. It's always wonderful to have family around a table filled with wonderful food and share the love. And I was sitting at my table and I realized something that I probably should have realized before. Is one of those, come on, really? You know. But I looked around my table and I saw the beautiful faces of my granddaughters and my daughter and her husband. And I felt so grateful, so happy that we had a roof over our head. We had warm air coming from the furnace and the fireplace. We had food on the table, more than we could ever eat in that particular day. We had clothes on our backs. We're lucky. So many people, even neighbors right down the street, are not as fortunate as we are. And we should think about that. It's been kind of a tough year for Bonnie and I personally. We've had 4 deaths in the family, 2 on Bonnie's side and 2 on my side. And one of the deaths actually was from a car accident that really shook me to my core. And when I get shook up about things like this, I tend to keep everything inside. I just fold up. I do the armadillo trick. And so, really, since it's July and August, it's been difficult for us on many levels. And I found out that by doing that, it wasn't helping the situation. It wasn't helping me. It was actually hurting me more than it was anyone else. But when I'm that way, I don't like to be around people, any people. I don't care who they are. I go in and do what I need to do and leave. And it's really best if I don't get in a vehicle, because that makes it even worse. But I was reminded of the words of Forest Church. And he said, the goal is to live life in such a way that our lives will prove worth dying for. This one thing that can't be taken from us, even in death, is the love we give away before we go. And he wrote that as he had a terminal cancer diagnosis. So if you have a chance to read his book about his upcoming own death, it's actually a very good book to read. So I finally came to terms with the passings I'd mentioned earlier, and then I had that epiphany that I was only hurting myself and I wasn't hurting anyone else. And I had a whole group of people here who would understand what I was feeling if I was only willing to sit down and talk to them about it. I'm not sure why, but I've always continued that I am the strong one. I can handle anything, just, I don't like asking for help. And if I'd share those feelings, I'm sure many of the people here and sitting in this room today would have given me comfort and counsel and helped me through this. But I don't know if you're a George Carlin fan. I am. I have been for years. And of course, some of his things you don't want to listen to with children around. He's very direct, but a highly, highly intelligent man. And he did a whole bit on gratitude. and the gift of life. And I'm going to quote some of that here because I found it extremely, extremely helpful. But he reminds us that life is a gift, and it's a gift every single morning. You wake up, your heart is beating, your lungs are working, and somehow against all odds, your brain remembers how to function so that you can actually get out of bed. That alone is a win. You survived yesterday. You survived the alarm clock going off. You survived the idiot who cut you off in traffic. You survived all the relentless emails, the disappointments, and you survived the grind of people who drive you crazy, and somehow you're still here. Life is a gift. It's not guaranteed for tomorrow. Nothing is guaranteed for tomorrow. So when someone gives you a gift, do you just put it on a shelf and let it sit there? No! You open it with wild abandon because you want to know what's in there and how you can use it. And we should do the same thing every morning with that gift of life. Rip it open with wild abandon. Most people want meaning to their lives, and that's commonplace. We want to count for something. But it seems that it's too easy to keep scrolling through our social media or binge watch the next episode of some show you've been watching on TV. And all the while, that gift of life sits in the corner. Comparing our lives to someone else's is not what we should do. The gift is meant to be lived. Take the next step and decide that today I am going to do something that matters. I'm going to do something that's important for me. It may be as simple as opting to clean out your sock drawer. If you've ever seen my sock drawer, that's not a small thing. You arrange your socks by color, so when you're trying to get dressed the next morning before the coffee kicks in, you can make that sock decision just a little bit easier. And when you look at it the next morning, you go, yeah, I did that. That makes me feel good. Granted, it's just a sock drawer, but it's one thing that made you feel good. It feels good to complete things that we've put off. Setting goals and intentions for the day helps me get outside my own head. And it gives this gift of life meaning. Life is messy. We know that. Life is messy. It's just, if we didn't have the messy, we wouldn't enjoy the orderly. We just have to accept it. At times life gets messy. And cleaning up those messes can also teach us something. Or it should. You might say to yourself, okay, next time we're going to try something different. Or, in my case, I say, okay, I am never going to do that again, like ever. Without darkness, we can't appreciate the light. Without valleys, we can't appreciate the mountains. Without clouds, we can't appreciate the sun. And without some pain and messy, there is no gratitude. The world's a mess right now, we know it. We know that people are starving and dying because they're being denied aid that the U.S. used to provide for them. Those folks that are in our government right now seem content to have these people starving and dying all around the world. And it can be overwhelming. It could make you angry, it can make you sad, it can make you depressed, and you can just get overcome and say, I can't fix this. I'm one person. How can I fix this? Well, You can't by yourself. But fix just a little in your own life. Open the door for someone and smile, say good morning. And if they smile back and say good morning back, hopefully you made their day just a little bit better. Random acts of kindness are always important. You can actually decide what kind of day you're going to have when you get out of bed. If you get out of bed with an attitude that says, this day is going to bite, I know it's going to bite, I can't wait till I get to work and I can get home and then it'll be better. Or you can say, I'm going to try and have a good day. I'm going to smile. I'm going to talk to people. And if problems arise, I'm going to solve them as best I can. And if I can't solve them, I'm going to ask for help. You decide what kind of day you're going to have. I was actually married to a man that complained about everything, complained about the weather. Just, what's the point? We can't control it. It's windy, it's cold, there's snow coming. My son got 12 inches last night in eastern Iowa. He was happy to stay home. We can't control those things. We can prepare for them, but we can't control them. Now, as far as the state of the world, we can always be among the millions that are protesting these cruel and thoughtless intentions. As a matter of fact, we have 3 opportunities in December to go down to the square and protest these very things. Take some time, make a sign, go down there, and stand with folks that say, we have had enough. It makes you feel better. As I mentioned earlier, we had some deaths in the family. And one of these people who passed away was Bonnie's Aunt Carol. Wonderful person. She became so much an integral part of our family in the last 4 to 5 years because she had moved from Muskegon, Michigan down here to Worcester. And when she passed away, she actually gave us the first right of refusal on her condo. Now, we weren't planning on moving to a condo, knowing how much Bonnie likes to cut grass and do yard work. But I told her there's always people in this congregation who needs to have grass cut. Go talk to them and go cut grass. She really does enjoy cutting grass. This is her Zen thing. And so anyway, our time to sell our house and move, that timeline got moved up by a few years. And so it's not only, selling our place, but we also had to clean out the condo because Carol's daughters were not as helpful as they should have been. Let's put it that way. Now, you know my wife, Bonnie. She is the most incredible part of my life, the thing I am grateful for every day. She keeps me on task. She keeps me going. Even though I don't want to go, she just keeps me going. Bonnie's very organized. You all know that too. She makes lists. When she makes lists, I know I'm in trouble. So she's sitting and she's making lists in a spiral notebook and she keeps turning the pages over and making more lists and I'm thinking, this is not a good thing for me. This is not going to be good. I actually spoke with my mother that day that she was doing that, and after 40 years, my mother and I have repaired our relationship, and now we talk every week, and it's a wonderful thing. Anyway, I was talking to my mother, who is 95, and I said, Bonnie's making lists. And she says, lists of what? I said, things we have to do every day before the moving truck comes. Of course, we had to clean out the other place too. And she said, well, how do you know what you're supposed to do? I said, I get up in the morning, she tells me what to do, and I just do it. And my mother, there was a timely saisance, a timely pause. And she says, why didn't that work when you were younger? And I said, well, I didn't have the fear of being thrown out on my backside, probably, but she laughed. But Bonnie had lists of things to do every day, so our move would be easier because, again, our time period was crunched, and we sold the house way too quickly, and needless to say, we got everything done. So the day the moving truck finally came, it was a lot easier. We were able to get the movers there. We had everything ready for them. We saved money on moving because everything was ready. Boom, 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 boom. And oh, by the way, if you're moving anytime soon and you have to disconnect the washer and the turn-off, shut-offs are corroded, they tend to break. So then you get out a pair of vice grips and shut the water off. And of course, you really can't leave broken things like that for the next owner. At least I didn't feel good doing that. So we had a plumber come in and fix those for us. So if you're moving and you need give me a call. I found a good plumber. It went smoothly. We moved in, and I found that the last time we moved was 10 years prior, and I don't have the strength and the stamina I used to have anymore. And so Bonnie made sure that she'd made lists of all the people that we had to change our addresses. You know, you have to change all your addresses, and that's a nightmare in itself. We filled out forms with the post office, and we changed our address with the post office. Yet the post office failed to let the mail carrier know. So we were still getting all of our mail at the old house, so we'd have to go to the old house every day and pick up our mail. And so they finally let the mail carrier know. Now we're getting mail at the time that we're supposed to be getting mail. And Bonnie and I have so much to be grateful for again. It was a tough time, but we got through it, and we didn't kill one another. And that's always a plus in my book. And we didn't even fight. Of course, we don't anyway, but we didn't even bicker, let's put it that way. Because she wore me down so much working that I just didn't have the strength. That was her whole goal, you know. But the list of things I'm grateful for besides Bonnie are very, very long. And rather than try to name them here this morning, make that list of things that you're grateful for and look at them every day. Bonnie and I have started doing something that we've not done for a long time, and that is making some long-term plans. It seems like we couldn't do that even for the last 5 to 10 years because we were always taking care of somebody, whether it was an elderly neighbor or an ailing relative. We couldn't get to that point where we wanted to go away for 2-3 weeks a month at a time after she retired. We couldn't do that. We had grass to cut, we had neighbors to take care. And then COVID hit, and that just put everything in a mess. But now we have. We're actually taking care of ourselves instead of taking care of other people. And we want to do the things and see parts of the world that we want to see before we get to the point where we are infirm enough to where we can't do that. So any problems that happen, that arise, we solve them together. We take care of ourselves a bit more by doing things we'd only dreamed of doing. And remember, the future is no guarantee. It's not a guarantee to anyone. But we'll still make our plans and we'll fight our battles when they arise, and I'll continue to be grateful for all of the little things that make your gift of life on a daily basis worth living. Things like my community, my friends, and my family. Blessed be. Let's sing a song. Song number 360, Here We Have Gathered. The music can be found in the gray hymnal. The benediction this morning comes from a gentleman named Leo Biscaglia. And Leo writes, "Years ago, I had a Buddha teacher in Thailand who would remind his students that there is always something to be grateful for. He would say, 'Rise up and be thankful. If we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So be grateful.'"